How to create a transparent background for product photos in Photoshop. Product photography can be a hefty investment. It's always good practice to look for ways to maximize this investment. One idea? Repurposing product photos for other uses. So how do you do that? Transparent background images. When you put products on a transparent background, you can use them across the web in a variety of contexts and channels. This Photoshop tutorial will show you how to create a transparent background in Photoshop for your product shots. Step 1. Remove the background. Open your product image in Photoshop. For this example, we'll use an image of a sock on a white background. Go to your Layers panel and select the layer that contains your product image. If you're working in a JPEG or another flattened file format, this will be your only layer, and it will be called Background. Photoshop 2024 now has a Remove Background feature, which allows you to make a transparent background with the click of a button. To access this tool, if you don't already see it on your screen, go to Window, Contextual Taskbar from the menu at the top of the application window. Make sure the contextual taskbar is checked by clicking on it in the menu. The taskbar will appear on or near your image. Once you see it, click Remove Background. Photoshop will attempt to discern what is your object and what is your background, and show your product images without their background. However, your background isn't gone. If you look in your Layers panel, you'll see the background is now masked. Step 2. Refine the mask. Photoshop's new Remove Background tool does a pretty good job in most cases. However, it's not always perfect. If part of the product is missing or part of the background is showing, you can fix it by modifying the image mask Photoshop just created. Select the mask within your Layers panel. The mask is the black and white icon just to the right of the image of your layer. When you select just the mask, a small black outline appears around the mask icon. Once in your mask, use the brush tool to paint parts of your image back if necessary. You can also use the eraser tool to erase more portions of the background. You'll also see options to subtract from mask and add to mask in the contextual taskbar. These options work the same way as the brush and eraser tools. Once you're happy with how your product looks against the transparent background in Photoshop, you're ready to save the image in a web-ready format. You haven't actually removed your background, you merely masked it from view. Therefore, in the future, you can return to this image and add the background back in if necessary. Step 3. Save your image in the proper web-ready format. Creating a transparent background in Photoshop is just the first step. You need to save your product image in the correct format so it displays with a transparent background on your e-commerce website. The best format to save your image in is a PNG 24. This format allows for multiple layers of transparency, meaning your image will never have a pixelated halo when placed on a different colored background. Older transparent file formats such as the PNG 8 and GIF can create this undesirable halo effect, so whenever possible, use a PNG 24. To save your file as a PNG 24 in Photoshop 2024, type Shift, Alt, Control, W, or Shift, Option, Command, W on a Mac, or choose File, Export, Export As from the drop-down menu at the top of the application window. If you're using an older version of Photoshop and you don't see the Export As option, you can choose Save for Web and select PNG 24 from the preset drop-down menu on the right of the dialog box. In the dialog box that appears under File Settings on the right side of the box, set the format to PNG and make sure the transparency box is checked. Do not check Smaller File. This converts the file to a PNG 8, which is not what we want. On the left-hand side of the image, you'll see the file size predicted for your PNG file. This is important to keep an eye on because larger file sizes will make your web page load more slowly. It's a good idea to keep web images at around 200 kilobytes or smaller. On the right-hand side of your dialog box, under Image Size, you have the option to adjust the dimensions of your image. Smaller dimensions mean a smaller file size. However, you don't want to make your image's dimensions smaller than you want them to appear on your website. Otherwise, you'll have a blurry or pixelated image. Also, with many of your customers viewing your product on a Retina display, it's good practice to save your product image at a size 50 to 100% larger than the size you expect it to display. This will help it look crisp on all devices. In other words, if you know your product will show at 400 pixels wide at its maximum, you'll want to make it at least 600 pixels wide here. So yes, there's a bit of balance you'll need to work with to maximize your image size while minimizing your file size. To minimize load time, you can choose only to have your featured product images saved larger for Retina displays, and allow the bulk of your product images to be saved at actual size. Step 4. Save your file. Once you've set your image size to proper dimensions, click Export. In the Save dialog box, choose the folder where you keep your web-ready product images. It's a good idea to keep your optimized image files separate from your original image files to avoid confusion when loading your images onto your site. Name the image file and make sure its extension is set to PNG. Click Save. You can now place your transparent product image against different backgrounds on your site and have it display perfectly. Head over to our channel for more Photoshop tutorials, and don't forget to like and subscribe.